So the first thing we're going to do is read the problem. It says, on the first play of a football game, the quarterback ran with the football and gained 4 yards. On the next play, he lost 7 yards. The two plays are illustrated on the number line. Write a subtraction equation that represents the two consecutive plays' net yardage. Okay, so the first thing it's telling you to do is to make sure that you read the problem and circle information that you know and underline what the problem is asking you to find. So I'm going to turn my pen on here, and I'm going to come up here, and it says he actually gained. I know that he gained 4 yards, and I know that he lost 7 yards. But what it's actually asking me to find, it wants me to write a subtraction equation. So what I'm actually looking, the answer is going to be something minus something equals something. So I'm actually thinking this out as I'm rereading the problem. So this is what I would physically want you to do when you're trying to solve a problem. So we're looking for a subtraction equation that represents the situation. Okay, so it says what you'll need to do to solve the problem. You're going to do the steps. So first off, we got to figure out what this first term is. So determine the integer that represents the yards after the first play. So what is the first thing that happens, and what integer would represent that? First thing that happens is he gains 4 yards. What would that integer be? Okay, you're right. So that's actually going to be a positive 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write positive 4 here. It's supposed to be a subtraction problem. Then it says determine the integer that represents the yards after the second play. So it said he lost 7 yards. So what integer represents losing 7 yards? Go ahead and pick that for me, please. Okay, so gaining 4 yards is positive 4. And losing 7 yards is negative 7. Okay, but here's the equation we're supposed to do. So 4 minus 7 yards equals something. So we're going to come back up here to the top. So when we come back here to the top, we were correct. It actually starts out with there being a positive 4. And then once we've gained that positive 4, that's what that blue arrow is, we stop on positive 4, then we actually took away a positive 7. So if you have a positive 4 and you take away positive 7 yards, they actually end up landing on negative 3. So now that I have actually gone through and looked at the picture, let's see which one matches. So I want you to look at each of the 4 equations up here and decide whether it's going to be A, B, C, or D. All right, so the subtraction equation is 4 positive yards minus 7 negative yards, minus 7 positive yards, and the correct answer is going to end up being B. Now, before we finish here, 4 minus positive 7 has an equivalent additive inverse. What is the equivalent additive inverse of positive 4 minus positive 7? Go ahead and type that into the answer. That answer is going to be positive 4 plus negative 7. And that does give us the same answer because negative 7 has a greater absolute value, which means that the answer is going to be negative. 7 minus 4 is 3, and so that's going to be negative 3 also.